friends can follow, gather behind.
We'll have the immediate family in the first row, and anyone else who needs a chair, please feel free to take it. Yeah.
Right here. Yeah, that might be come this way. Okay, so everyone will keep coming forward. There's still plenty of room under the tent. You want to keep moving in so we can get more people. And if you didn't get a folder, let me know. I have quite a few.
Yeah.
Please step in. Anybody need a folder? Still plenty of room. Oh, you got people as well. What time are we at? Okay, we are going to begin. Also, folders. Oh no. All right, if you can gather a little closer, you're fine, or we have a microphone with speaker, so you'll be able to hear. Friends, we are going to begin the funeral service for Mrs. Barbara Ross Jacobson. If you have a cell phone, I'd ask you kindly to place it in the silent mode or turn it completely off at this time. I'd also like to welcome friends visiting us via live stream. On behalf of the family, thank you. Services will be conducted by Rabbi Barry Axler, and I believe he's going to start with the ancient tradition of cutting of the kriya.
Our Jewish funeral service begins with the kriya, or tearing the black ribbon. It's a custom that dates back to two biblical moments. First, when Jacob saw what he thought was the blood of Joseph on his coat of many colors, the Bible says that he tore his clothes. And then many years later, when King David learned that his eldest son had been killed, in his grief he fell to the floor and also tore his clothes. So this expression of tearing has been part of our Jewish funeral service now for over 3,000 years. And the external tearing has come to symbolize the broken fabric and the broken hearts in our lives. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, dayan ha'emet. O blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who is the one judge of all truth. At the end of life, I think the measure of success is not how much you've got, but how much you've given. Not how much you've earned, but how much you've returned. Not how much you've won, but how much you've done. Barbara Ross Jacobson gave, she returned, and she did for so many. She is gone, and you can shed tears that she is gone, or you can smile because she has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that she will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that she has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see her, or you can be full of the love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember her and only that she is gone, or you can cherish her memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind and be empty and turn your back, or you could do what she would want. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. At times like this, words fail us. And so we turn to our Psalms, and if you can in your booklets, please join me in the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anoints my head with oil, and my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Eshet chayil mi'imsa. This is Proverbs 31. A woman of valor, who can find? She is more precious than fine pearls. She perceives that her labor is rewarding, and her candle burns on into the night. She reaches out to those in need, and she extends her hands to the poor. She is clothed in strength and dignity, and she faces the future cheerfully. She speaks with wisdom, and the law of kindness is on her lips. Her children rise up, and they bless her, and they sing her praises. Many daughters have done valiantly, but you excel them all. A life well lived cannot be diminished by death. The beauty, the guidance, and the inspiration it gave us will shine on as brightly as ever. Death leaves a heartache no one can heal, but life leaves a memory no one can steal. There's a beautiful line in the play Wicked that I think has meaning for us this morning. I know we are who we are today because we knew you. And because we knew you, we are changed forever. In describing the passing of our first matriarch, Sarah, the Bible says that Sarah lived to be 127 years old. And what the Bible doesn't say is that Sarah died at 127, but that Sarah lived to be 127. Underscoring that what is most important in life is how we live and not how we die. Barbara lived a wonderful life of love for her husband, Bruce. She lived a life of love for her children, Seth and Jamie, Lee and Stephanie, Bob and Susan. She lived a life of love for her grandchildren, Lauren and Melissa, Nora Sophia, Jax Rose, Connor Owen, Charlotte Eva, and Olivia Molly. She lived a life of love for her extended family and her many friends. Bruce shared with me that Barbara's favorite expression was pay it forward. To Barbara, giving back was more important than anything else. When she was diagnosed with leukemia, she started a nonprofit to help others with this disease. It was not only her being charitable, but giving others an opportunity to be charitable as well. Her doctor said she always had a smile on her face. When Bruce and Barbara got married, they told her friends rather than more toaster ovens, they would like to have gifts donated to the Stem Cell Research Center at the Hadassah Hospital. Who knew that years later, Barbara would need that same kind of help? Bruce told me that Barbara was a very dynamic person and a leader in all she took on. She had a custom at the Passover Seder to add a Miriam's cup in honor of the valiant woman of valor that help others. Barbara Ross Jacobson was the quintessential woman of valor. Our tradition teaches us that when we pass on, we leave behind only two things. And they are two Hebrew words that not only sound alike, but they come from the same root. One is Yerusha, and the other is Morasha. Now, Yerusha are your material assets. They're your bank accounts, your real estate holdings, or your stocks and bonds. But Morasha is the essence of who you are the characteristics about yourself that you leave behind for family and friends who love you and who will miss you. I don't know, nor do I care to know, what Barbara's Yerusha was. But after spending some time with Bruce, I can tell you what her Morasha was. It was an unconditional love for her family. It was a reaching out and caring for others. And it was an incredible zest for life. You know, we just read the very first words in the Bible, which we're all familiar with. Let there be light, and there was light. But it wasn't until day 4 that God creates the sun and the moon. And if God creates the sun and the moon on day 4, what was this light that the Bible was talking about in the very first sentences? So I believe that was a spiritual light. That was the light of God. And since the world wasn't complete, God put that light into each and every one of us. And when we lead good lives, and when we care for others, that light shines forth and makes this world better. Every single person here knew that Barbara had that light. And when it shone forth and hit you, it inspired you to do better and to be better. On the long drive up from the city this morning, 2 songs came over the radio that touched me deeply for the ceremony this morning. The first was a hit song by James Taylor, How Sweet It Is to Being Loved by You. How sweet it was for each and every one of us to be loved by Barbara. And the second song was a 1960s hit song written by Burt Bacharach and Hal David, sung by Dionne Warwick. Always something there to remind me. Each of us will always have something there to remind us of Barbara. For as the song concludes, for how could I forget you when there is always something there to remind me? I was born to love you, and I will never be free because you'll always be a part of me. I was very touched by all the things that Bruce shared with me. So I'd like to share with you a very personal and a very special poem whose message I know Barbara Jacobson would have embraced. It's entitled, If I Knew. If I knew it would be the last time that I'd see you fall asleep, I would tuck you in more tightly, and I'd pray the Lord your soul to keep. If I knew it would be the last time that I'd see you walk out the door, I'd give you a hug and a kiss, and I'd call you back for one more. If I knew it would be the last time I would hear your voice lifted up in praise, I would videotape each action and word so I could play them back day after day. If I knew it would be the last time I would be there to share your day, I would not say, you'll have so many more that I can let just this one slip away. I would not think that there's always tomorrow to make up for an oversight, and that I always get a second chance to make everything just right. So just in case today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you. And I hope that we never forget that tomorrow is not promised to anyone, young or old alike. And today may be the last chance that you get to hold your loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day. That you didn't take the extra time for a smile, a hug, or a kiss, and you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their one last wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear and tell them how much you love them and that you'll always hold them dear. And take time to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regret about today. Barbara's passing cannot diminish the important ways that she touched your life, and your grief cannot take away the happiness that you shared. In your memories of her, may you find comfort. In your family and friends, may you find love. And in your hearts, may you find the strength to help you through this very difficult time. So may the memory of Barbara Ross Jacobson always be a blessing to us. May it inspire us to do better and to be better. And in her honor, may God grant you comfort and peace in this very difficult time. Amen. I would like to first call upon Jacqueline Castanis, who is the CEO of Simply from the Heart, to offer a few words.
Hello. I just don't even feel almost qualified to stand here and speak about Barbara. I met Barbara in 2014 at Northwestern Memorial Hospital, and right now I'm thinking about Barbara, and she would say, "Get up there, stop crying, you speak," because that's just what she did. She gave me so much strength. That's right. And she loved you so, so much. I loved hearing about your whole family from Barbara. So I walked into Northwestern, I knocked on her door, and I said, "Hi, we're the Glam Squad. We wanted to see if you wanted some pampering done." And I remember seeing Bruce right there, and I felt this great immersive light in their room. And we spoke and we carried on, and she shared with me just every aspect of good in her life. And I took it all in, and I was pregnant with my first baby, the first of 4, and she watched me walk into hospital rooms pregnant with all 4 and encouraged me to just keep doing good things and keep bringing patients that are in the hospital this joy and this light and this, dignity. And from the first day we met, I just remember how in tune she was with my best friend, Brooke. And Brooke was the inspiration behind Simply from the Heart, me spending a year with her in the hospital, realizing it was a stale environment. And she would always, always comment and call me and talk about Brooke. And the one time a year and a half ago, she got up on stage after our fashion show, and she just said, "Brooke is so proud." And it was our 10-year anniversary, and she was just the walking light of Simply from the Heart. And she's such a hard one to lose because I feel like I'm also losing my strength when I was like, this is so difficult. Like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this, Barbara. It's so hard. I don't know. And she just said, no. I'm in the hospital with 4 blood clots and I'm working for Simply from the Heart right now. You better do it. This is for you to do. And here she is rallying nurses and doctors up until her very last day. And like he said it. I was listening to Holiday from Madonna on the way here, and the words just about celebrating and coming together. That's all she wanted, and that's all she stood for. And she, in asking about Brooke and knowing and just almost knowing Brooke on a different soul level, she became my best friend. And it was so hard to read that email that my dearest best friend is meeting her creator, but I know she's such an angel. And I love her so dearly, and it was just such an impact. She had such an impact on my life, and it's an honor to just stand here in her loving memory, because Barbara was one special lady. I love you guys so much. Sorry.
And Jacqueline, it's the family's honor and our honor that you came here today from Florida. It's now my honor to call upon Seth and Jamie, who have some thoughts to share with us. Stephanie. Oh, Lee and Stephanie. Yes. Okay.
Okay. I am honored to address all of you today to honor and highlight what I loved most about my mother-in-law, Barbara. After dating Lee for over a year, the day had finally come for me to meet his mother, Barbara. It was New Year's Day, 2014. Lee had told his mom ahead of time that he would be bringing me to her biggest gathering of the year. At the time, I did not know what to expect or experience walking into Barbara and Bruce's home on Barberry. I was filled with anticipation and fear. Now reflecting on that day, I understand why Lee chose New Year's Day for me to meet Barbara. Lee loved that she threw the party annually, and he wanted it to be my first impression of his mom. She was in her element, hosting her large network of family and friends to gather, eat, and have fun to celebrate the new year. That was also the day I first met many of you that are here today. Barbara welcomed me with open arms and was just so happy to finally meet me and have many of you meet me as well. Lee encouraged Barbara and me to form our own personal relationship from that moment on, and we did. Although we were very different in many aspects, we both made a huge effort to identify common interests to build our relationship on. The first one, a love of cooking and hosting. This was what we connected most on at first. Barbara not only taught me how to cook, she showed me that food was love. Do you want to take her? As a 24-year-old living in a small apartment not conducive for hosting large or elaborate gatherings, like she did, I viewed her as the expert. I could learn from her. She also specialized in dishes I was not familiar with, so it was a natural way for us to start sharing recipes and cooking together. You all know Barbara loved to cook and feed everyone. Bruce was well fed daily, and then she was always inviting Lee, Seth, Jamie, and I over for Shabbat or a family gathering where she was sure to have something special for each of us. Then we couldn't leave without bags of leftovers and frozen batches of each of our favorites she had made for us. The second thing, the importance of sustaining strong relationships with girlfriends. Barbara modeled for me the importance of female friendships. She was a girl's girl through and through. She poured so much love and support into you ladies that are here today. I strive to be viewed as the type of friend Barbara was to all of you. Our love and dedication towards our husbands. I always viewed Barbara and Bruce's loving and supportive marriage in high regard. They would do anything for each other. What a special relationship to observe as I was building my lifelong partnership with Lee. I hope to be as obsessed with Lee as Barbara was with Bruce after 20 plus years. After 6 years of knowing Barbara, our relationship had a new and overpowering connection point. Nora Sophia, also lovingly referred to as Grandma's Princess. With the arrival of our daughter, Nora, my conversations with Barbara revolved almost solely around her role as a grandma. Barbara was a dedicated mother, but she took being a grandma to the next level. Some of my fondest memories will always be the absolute thrill she had making Nora food once she started solids. I would have never been able to keep up with Nora's needs without Barbara's weekly delivery of ready-to-serve healthy options. Her stuffed mushrooms were Nora's absolute favorite, and Barbara made trays of them for Nora's first birthday party. The amount of time she spent shopping for anything and everything Nora, Jax, Connor, Charlotte, or Olivia could need. The perfect outfit for every occasion. Perfectly curated gifts for every holiday and birthday. Toys and activities for each stage of development at her house, waiting to be discovered during their next visit. Grandma thought of them constantly. I would also like to highlight that Connor and Charlotte are wearing their Thanksgiving outfits. She spent days picking out well over a month ago. That just shows they were Thanksgiving. And, they're a little big on them still because, Outfits spent days picking out well over a month ago, and Nora is wearing one of her countless dresses Barbara searched and searched for to ensure she would choose to wear it repeatedly when dressing herself daily. I know Nora's special dresses from Grandma on Nora. I know seeing Nora's special dresses on Grandma on Nora, and eventually seeing them on Charlotte and Livy will pull at my heartstrings, knowing that the blessing will eventually outgrow them. I will also anxiously wait for the next box of Jax's clothes from Jamie to Connor to figure out which outfits were chosen with love from Grandma. I'm almost done. If I wanted, can you take this thing? I feel like I'm wearing. If I wanted to offload anything related to my children, I sent the challenge Barbara's way, and she enthusiastically took care of it. That will be a huge void in my motherhood journey. I know there will be days I long to call or text her about a subject because she would love to jump right in and perfectly solve for whatever they needed. I am deeply saddened to no longer have the unwavering support Barbara provided to my husband, 3 children, and me. She was my motherly figure I could count on always. So, now I leave you with the most positive and current visual of Barbara that I hope never leaves me, that highlights the special relationship she had with my 5-year-old Nora. It was an absolute joy to walk into Barbara and Bruce's townhouse after Nora was picked up by them from preschool, and they had spent the evening together, just the 3 of them. Nora was never ready to leave Grandma and Grand Bruce's, whether she was there for a few hours or for a sleepover. Barbara made that home Nora's, with everything she could ever need or want. So I do not blame her for never wanting to leave. Barbara was strategic and ensured Nora always said yes to heading over and no to leaving. Usually when I walked in on a school night, they were finishing up their spa time upstairs. Nora would be in her pajamas and special slippers, blow drying her hair after showering, or be seated at Barbara's vanity going through all of Barbara's self-care items. I would then immediately get the energetic summary from all 3 of them that what they had experienced together over the last several hours. before I had to issue the countdown, forcing Nora to head downstairs so we could get headed home. The greatest blessing Barbara could have ever given me was the way she loved and supported my 3 children. I am deeply saddened Nora, Jax, Connor, Charlotte, and Olivia don't have more time to absorb her overwhelming love. With that, I conclude with the way Nora would end every interaction with Barbara. You know what I'm going to say? L-O-V-E-U.
That was so beautiful. And now it's my honor to call upon Seth and Jamie, who also have some special thoughts to share with us.
All right. Many of you here today know Barbara as a friend or an amazing friend. Most of you saw her as a mom to Lee and Seth, and in her most stunning performance yet, as a grandma. Unfortunately, all of her grandchildren are not old enough to come up here and share their thoughts, or to even stand or talk. So I wanted to share a letter from the perspective of our children. Dear Grandma Barbara, every time I saw you, you had a present for me, but that's not what made me love you. What made me love you was the way you told me every time you saw me that you were the luckiest person in the world to be my grandma. You acted like everything I did was the funniest thing you'd ever seen, and I could do no wrong in your eyes. You sang with us, played with us, happily accepted countless FaceTime calls just so I could hang up on you 1 second later because I love pushing the red button. You always saved me the chicken from the soup you made because you knew it was my favorite part. You made sure we had more matching outfits than we could ever possibly wear. Not only did you make holidays fun, but you brought both sides of our families together, which made them extra special for us. You lit the Shabbat candles with us, and you led by example that family is the most important thing. While we are too young to understand this, we will be forever grateful to you for enduring countless procedures, medications, hospital stays, and surgeries. Without these, we would have never had the chance to meet you, and there would forever be a void in our hearts. Your strength and courage are something we will look up to for the rest of our lives. And don't worry, Grandma Barbara, although our time together was way too short, your legacy will live on through us. Your memory is truly a blessing. We love you.
I know it's one of the coldest days of the year, and everybody's standing, and I really appreciate everybody coming here, and especially those who flew in last minute. And I do have quite a bit to say, so I do ask that you just please bear with me. My mom would want me to begin by thanking her incredibly talented medical team. Dr. Catherine Yao, my mom's breast cancer surgeon, prevented her from needing the one thing she at the time dreaded most, chemotherapy. Thank you. That reprieve would only last a few years until she was diagnosed with leukemia and took up residency in Northwestern's Prentice Women's Hospital in 2014. The nurse practitioners, nurses, patient care technicians, phlebotomists, and custodial staff on the 15th and 16th floors of Prentice may all keep that place going. Over the course of her 150 plus days there my mom spent, she developed incredibly meaningful bonds with this group of people. Thank you. Dr. Emily Schmulowitz, an endocrinologist my mom affectionately referred to as Schmoo, was critical in helping my mom manage many of the side effects, specifically Addison's disease, associated with the stem cell transplant she received to prevent the leukemia from recurring. Thank you. Dr. Jayesh Mehta is a hematologist-oncologist who specializes in stem cell transplants. He helped my mom manage her graft versus host disease, a common side effect of stem cell transplants. Dr. Mehta trained at Hadassah Hospital in Jerusalem and speaks fluent Hebrew. Of course, my mom loved that. The day my mom passed, Dr. Mehta visited, turned to my brother and me, and said, "Your mom kicked my ass." Thank you. Dr. Olga Frankfurt oversaw my mom's stem cell transplant and immediate care thereafter. When my mom's DNA was first entered into databases for stem cell transplants, she had 2 matches, a mother of 5 and a young man who was soon disqualified because of a newly discovered underlying medical condition. Dr. Frankfurt shared with us that she typically doesn't favor female stem cell donors who have had many children. And as she was thoughtfully pacing around the room where she delivered this news, concluded that the best course forward was riskier, but the option that provided the possibility of the best outcome, utilizing the stem cells of 2 frozen umbilical cords. My mom would want it known that in the United States, it's very difficult to store umbilical cords, and that her matched cords came from Israel, a testament to one of the ways Israel protects Jewish people around the world. Dr. Frankfurt has a presence about her, similar to my mom. When she walks into a room, you know it. It gave us the utmost confidence. Thank you. My close friend of more than 38 years, Dr. Jonathan Rosenberg, helped my mom navigate cardiological issues. My mom was equally as appreciative of his superior skills as a physician as she was his limitless availability to talk through any issue. If you want to meet a mensch, go shake John's hand. Thank you. Doctors Carol Rosenberg-Derman and Gordy Derman, I know you both are modest people, but I could not stand up here in good conscience without acknowledging the vital role you played in my mom's health care. Longtime friends of my mom's, both of them combined their intellect and years of medical expertise to pour through chemo protocols and my mom's lab results so they could advise on best courses and, most importantly, to reinforce that her treatment was going well. They spent hours on the phone with my mom. Thank you. Dr. Jessica Altman, my mom's hematologist-oncologist, was with her from day one. My mom quickly got referred to her by Denise Blakeman's daughter, also a Northwestern physician. Dr. Altman called my mom around 10 o'clock that night. She learned she had leukemia. Very upset about her diagnosis, my mom took the call, spoke with Dr. Altman for about 20 minutes, hung up the phone and said, "She talked to me like I'm her girlfriend." The next day, I believe, my mom went to meet Dr. Altman at Northwestern Hospital. Her disease was in such a grave state, and Dr. Altman wouldn't let her leave and admitted her. Naturally, my brother and I rushed to the hospital, and I remember walking out of my mom's room at Prentice, going into the hallway for a minute and looking out the window. I felt a tap on my shoulder and turned. Dr. Altman stuck out her hand and said, "Hi, I'm Jessica, and I'm going to help get your mom better." And she did. She was so much more than a doctor to my mom, a friend, a confidant, a shoulder to cry on, and a sounding board. Jessica, knowing someone as kind, talented, dedicated, and selfless as you is a privilege. Calling you part of our family is an honor. I'll never forget you. Thank you so very much. It took hundreds of years and combined medical studies and experience to give my mom what she repeatedly called the best years of her life. We are forever grateful to you all for your very best. Of course, there's one last thank you. My stepdad, Bruce. Caring for my mom was a full-time job, but Bruce is a guy who rolls with the punches. He doesn't complain, ever. An incredible feat considering the massive responsibility he undertook. Hours of consultations with doctors, in-person appointments, middle of the night runs to the emergency room, and carrying my mom upstairs when she was too weak to walk were basic responsibilities. When my mom came home after her stem cell transplant, she took some 40 pills daily, many of them anti-rejection medications. She was forewarned by Dr. Frankfurt, these medications need to be in perfect balance. Miss a dose and it could kill you. Bruce immediately devised a system, converting a room in their house into a makeshift pharmacy with medications placed across a number of surfaces. He color-coded the dozens of prescriptions based on the number of daily doses and time of day. Bruce is proud to have followed in his father's footsteps working in the liquor industry, but he was born to be married to my mom. His devotion to her is something I aim to replicate in my marriage. Every time I look at a picture of my mom at my wedding or with grandchildren, my immediate thought is how grateful I am to you. It's a cliche to say, I don't know what my mom would have done without you, and I know anyways, she wouldn't have survived. I thanked you at my wedding, I'll thank you today, and thank you as I recall every precious memory. You're an incredibly selfless man. My brother and I are lucky to have you in our lives. My mom felt so privileged to have all these people in her corner. She would proudly tell people, I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. For those who know her best, you'll understand why I sometimes told her, 2 times cancer lost its battle with you. She fought for one reason, her family. But the thing is, my mom didn't have many blood relatives. She was an only child. At 77, she outlived most of the people in her extended family. So my mom treated everyone like family. And I mean everyone. People who came into our house to work were first sat down to coffee and breakfast. They would work, then break for lunch, when my mom would sometimes barbecue, serve deli sandwiches or Shabbat leftovers, and of course, whatever sweets were in the house. Those who left shortly before lunch were packed a lunch to go. Guests of my mom's for the holidays came in with empty Tupperware and left with containers full of brisket, kugel, tzimmis, teglach, and mandel bread. I remember a meal one recent summer with Linda and Sandy Silvers, who I know are watching from Florida. My mom made skirt steaks, among other things. I commented to Sandy that he has quite an appetite. He said, I really don't. I just love your mother's cooking. A few minutes later, my mom put individual molten chocolate cakes on the table, topped with par of whipped cream. Sandy commented on how much he liked the contrast of the hot chocolate cake and cold whipped cream, as if he were on staff with the Michelin Guide. My memories of the holidays in my formative years include people like the Silvers, Phyllis and Gus Theodoropoulos, Marcy Carlin, Daryl and Slindy Schlinn, and Bob and Cindy Martyr. While not related by blood, my mom considered you all brothers and sisters, and I value you all as part of our family. As everyone's families grew through marriage and grandchildren, my mom turned her attention to our growing family, but made sure my dad was included. When Bruce and I were driving home from the hospital on Tuesday, he commented how important it was to him that my dad be included in those gatherings. The next morning, I woke up to an email from my dad sharing his thoughts, saying of these holidays, the reconciliation we made allowed us to forge a respectful bond that I value greatly. It was a privilege to be welcomed into her home and to witness the love she had for both of you and your families. Some may think that odd, others might snicker and sneer, but we don't care. We all hold our heads high because that's what my mom taught us to do. She was proud of her family. My mom's love of the holidays was underpinned by her Jewish values. That extended to her professional life. As Midwest director of Hadassah, the Women's Zionist organization, for 11 years, she was so proud to have raised money for the flagship Hadassah Hospital's emergency room. She believed in pikuach nefesh, the sanctity of life, and reminded me that the hospital triage is not based on religion, but medical status. As Jews, we value life, she would say. Fortuitously, before she was sick, and as the rabbi commented, she'd comment with great respect for Israeli intellect that Hadassah was at the forefront of stem cell research. That was my mom's profession. Her dedication was to her boys. Whenever I gave 90%, she'd say, I'm not raising a boy, Seth. I'm raising a man. She was tough on us, never afraid to voice her displeasure. She steadfastly stood her ground. I can never remember a time my mom backed down. But while some might find that off-putting, it's one of the reasons I revered my mom. Her strength and determination was unmatched. Earlier in my career, when I was pursuing sports writing, she pushed me when everyone else thought it impossible. If I voiced doubts about my prospects, it was met with stern retort. She wanted me to believe in myself as much as she did. She taught me that if I come upon a brick wall, I should try to run through it. When I did meet my goals, my mom reciprocated with unrelenting dedication. She never missed a TV appearance, even during her sickest days. She watched from her hospital bed and wrangled nurses to join her, even though I doubt many of them cared about what I had to say about the Cubs' long reliever. Of course, my mom was equally as kind as she was tough. We weren't a family that traveled during winter or spring break, but my mom didn't want us to feel bad. She would plan something for her, my brother, and I to do every day. Sometimes it was a movie over spring break, and if it fell on Passover, she would pack us kosher for Passover snacks to eat in the theater. On New Year's Day, and Stephanie touched on it, my mom had a tradition of making wings, chili, dips, and her famous sweet and sour meatballs. Some 80 people packed in our house for food and football. My mom would say she worked to make that party so that we would look forward to winter break every year. I have fond memories of watching football that day. Our most religious attendees would watch these college games and make calls of NFL stardom for guys like Ryan Leaf and Ron Dane. Both were spectacular failures at the pro level. Growing up, my mom made me feel like no two people were more important than my brother and me, until, of course, she had grandchildren. She welcomed over 5 over the last 5 years, and her greatest joy was to see them play together. To my niece Nora, my mom's oldest grandchild, you and your grandma had a very, very special relationship. She loved cooking Shabbat with you and having sleepovers at her house. You gave my mom the gift of being a grandma, something that at one time didn't seem like it was possible. Watching the two of you together always made your Aunt Jamie and I smile, and your Aunt Jamie and I love you very much for it. To my nephew, Connor, and niece Charlotte, you were born with your grandma's strength. You didn't need it to be taught to you. You're fighters, just like she is. The last time we were together at her house, she had the two of you on her lap, ignoring the pain of needing a hip replacement. To my daughter, Olivia, we call her Livy, your grandma Barbara said you have the happiest disposition she's ever seen. You smile at everyone as if they're your family, just like your grandma Barbara. I see in you the kindness that filled your grandma's heart. To my son, Jax Ross Gruen, when we FaceTimed your grandma Barbara the day you were born to share your name, she was proud as I've ever seen her, and she was a proud woman, knowing that her maiden name, Ross, would be carried forward by her firstborn grandson. Whenever she called, she'd say, "How's my prince, Jax Ross?" You're tough, like all Ross men. It made her so happy when we'd FaceTime her to light the Shabbat candles. If you asked Jax what he did with his grandma Barbara, he'd say, "Eat challah bread." That made her feel so fulfilled. When my mom was sick, she would very sternly tell me, "If something happens to me, you move on." Well, I'm going to stand my ground on this one. Moving on would mean forgetting all my mom has taught me and abandoning the values that are important to our family. I'm going to preserve them. What I will do is move forward and share them with my kids so that they are carried forward. I want you all to know that I love my mom very much, and I am so incredibly proud to be Barbara Ross Jacobson's son. I've shared Shabbat with many of you, and you might recall that each Shabbat, after the bracha over the candles, my mom recites a phrase in English. She would run through it very fast, to such a point where it could be difficult to make out certain words. It's important to me to carry forward the tradition, so I've spent the last several days trying to piece it together with Jamie. I think we got it. And as I continued to read through it more slowly, I recognized it embodied my mom's values. It's why she recited it every Shabbat. And given that it's Friday, I thought it would be appropriate to conclude with it. May it be thy will of my Lord and forefathers, that thou shalt be gracious to me, my husband, my children, my grandchildren, and all my near and dear ones. Grant us perfect peace to prevail in our households and cause thy divine presence to dwell in our midst. Make us worthy to rear up children and grandchildren in wisdom and understanding, so that they may enlighten the world with their knowledge of thy Torah and with their good, noble deeds. Enlighten our eyes so that this light shall never be extinguished. Let thy countenance shine upon us and grant us salvation. Amen. Good Shabbos.
That was incredible. Jacqueline, Lee and Stephanie, Seth and Jamie, thank you. As I was sitting here listening to you, something came to my mind. I don't know how many of you have seen the play Hamilton. But if you have, you know that one of the themes of Hamilton is how to pass on your legacy. And there's a phrase that goes through the entire play from beginning to end. Who lives, who dies, who will tell your story? Who will keep your flame alive, and who will remember your name? You will tell her story. You and your family will always keep her flame alive, and you will always remember her name. El mole rachamim shochem b'amramim, hamatzei menucha nechona tachat kanfei hashechina, b'ma'alot kedoshim v'toharim kezohar, horakia masirim et nishmat, Barbara Ross Jacobson, sholachali olamo. El mole rachamim, O exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure to the soul of Barbara Ross Jacobson, who has gone unto her eternal home. O merciful one, we ask that she find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace. And as one united family, let us answer. Amen. And before we conclude the service, I would like to share with you two Jewish traditions. The first is that we have a belief in our faith in the resurrection of the dead. And it's in one of our most important prayers 3 times a day. And according to tradition, those who will rise first are those who were buried either in the Mount of Olives Cemetery in Jerusalem, which is our holiest cemetery, or under earth from the Mount of Olives Cemetery. So in a moment, I will place some earth from the Mount of Olives Cemetery onto Barbara's casket. The second is that we have a very poignant tradition that we don't allow strangers to bury our dead. So at the very conclusion of the service, I encourage each and every one of you to symbolically participate in Barbara's burial. It is the last mitzvah, the last good deed that you can do for Barbara without asking anything in return or expecting anything in return. Any way to participate is fine. I will demonstrate the traditional way, which is to do 3 small shovelfuls, with the first shovel turned in the opposite direction as both the sign of grief and of something that's a little bit harder in our lives, and then 2 in the normal direction. And we do it 3 times because the first could be by accident, the second could be by coincidence, but the third is a real commitment. Now, the origins of our mourner's prayer, which is called the Kaddish, means holiness, its origins are very mysterious. Angels are said to have brought it down from heaven. It's the only prayer in our faith that has the power to link the living and the dead. But interestingly enough, If you were to look at the English translation of the mourner's Kaddish, there is absolutely no mention of death in our mourner's prayer. Therefore, it causes us to focus on the blessing of life. And Barbara Jacobson was certainly a blessing in our lives. So I ask the family to please rise for a moment, and all who can to join together on the back of your pamphlets in our traditional mourner's prayer, the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah B'yalma divrach hirutei B'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon u'b'yomechon U'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala u'v'zman koriv V'yimru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Li'olam Olamei Omaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shemei dekudisha b'richu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechamata Da'amiran b'yolma v'imru amen Yehei shaloma rabba min shemaya V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom b'imromav Hu yaseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the good Lord who makes peace in the high heavens grant peace and comfort to all of us who remember and mourn Barbara, and together as one family, let us say, Amen. And you may be seated.
As the cemetery gentlemen continue with placing the vault cover into the grave, I'd like to let the friends know that the family will be sitting Shiva at Lee and Stephanie Gruen's residence, 1411 Maple Street in Glenview, from a burial today until 4 p.m. and Sunday from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. That information is on the folder, so if you didn't get one, please see me. Thank you.
As I mentioned, any way to participate in the funeral, in the burial is fine. Our traditional way is to do 3 small shovelfuls, with the first shovel turned in the opposite direction as a sign of grief, and then 3, and then 2 more, and then you place the shovel back into the earth for the next person. As a historical note, okay, for those of you who remember either the Kennedy or the Reagan funeral, you'll remember there was a riderless horse with the stirrup turned in the opposite direction, and that tradition comes from our tradition. So 3 small shovelfuls, first shovel turned in the opposite direction as a sign of grief, 2 in the normal direction, and then you place the shovel back into the earth for the next person. We have 3 opportunities to do it, either the 2 sand buckles or the earth buckle over here. I invite Bruce, Lee, Seth, families. everyone please join?
Ladies and gentlemen, I brought the register book forward. If you haven't yet done so, please take a moment to sign.
Dance.
Oh yeah, Larry. No, Nady and Charlie. Thank you. Oh, thank you very much.
Where are you? Oh, Florence.
No. The reason is that you're not here with that person. So your husband. What I advise you
Just want to introduce ourselves. We're all really friends of Barbara, but Barbara had talked about you and Ben.
I agree. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So I'm going to try and get her to I would like to. Yeah, right. My daughter's
Can I ask you to move over a little bit? The camera's behind you.
This time she said,
Michael, I think you're what's your name?
it's the second time.
Yeah, Mike Silverman. I know.
Oh yes.
Yeah, good. Close friend of mine.
I do.
You can cross in front.
Thank you.
Just don't stand. Yeah, just cross.
She was your cousin.
Appreciate it. Very handsome, obviously.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Even wearing the
Wow. Yeah. You know, this is supposed to be very special when you test it. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Wow. 91, yeah. Yeah. Good. Right. Okay. did you know Barbara? Bruce. Oh, okay, got it. I know what you're doing. You stayed sober. What was the liquor company? Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
Friends, if you have placed earth into the grave, you can return to your cars. This
Barry.
does conclude the service.
Thanks, Bob.
If anybody would like some water on your way out, please come bring me.
You see Sam? No. Yours was like, we've gone in. I'm like, you chill out. It's great. What is it? Great camera, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look good. I just bought the storage.
Oh, yeah. Before I forget.
I'm like packing a couple on. He's into Stephen King stuff. He's riding right now. Yeah. Just get him stuff you want to jump in. That's what being a dad is, of boys, isn't it?
Oh my God, it's so.
You're like absolutely no.
I know, man. I know the crew, yeah. Yes, I did.
I'm the Theodore.
Okay.
I couldn't believe you pronounced my name. You pronounced it. No, it was Chinese pronounced name. You know.
Yeah, I just pulled it up.